crypto weekend. We're going to take a look at some crypto here today, see where those assets are going, as they are important to most of the assets that I do check out on this channel. But before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us for a while and haven't done so yet. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. We've got some new exciting things coming there here very soon. So by the time you check that out, it might actually already be up on the store. I'm also testing out some new audio settings here. Let me know if it sounds better. I went back and listened to some of the other videos and they were a bit tinny. I've tried to do some finagling with my settings here for this video. Let me know if it sounds better or worse here. It's really important to me that I get the audio actually working out better, since I've done this equipment switch and it's been a bit difficult to dial in. So I thank you for any of the comments that come through about the audio and whether or not it has improved. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, all of you. So we're going to start with Bitcoin here. We're going to look at Sol and we're going to look at ETH. We're also going to check out Dogecoin. So first of all, what we're seeing here is that we are closing above the 200-day moving average, comfortably above the 200-day moving average here. And the 5-day is following us up. The 5-day is currently at 65,268. The 200-day moving average is at 63,317. That is good. We're about to get a cross up of the 21 EMA above the 200-day moving average. We get that cross up, that's going to be a very nice sign here for that continuation. We are currently above the double bottom. So if we come in here, let me go ahead and do my drawing here. So we came here, we got a bottom, another bottom, and up here, this white line at 65,058. That was the signal for the double bottom, that neckline for the double bottom. Getting ads on my screen, that's annoying. So we are confirming up here. Now, the only concern I have is that this confirmation looks a little bit similar like the confirmation we got back here on August 24th and 25th that led to a downturn. Okay, that is a little bit concerning. Now, the thing that is not terribly concerning is that we've got a lot of support right below where we are. So we might come back to backtest the 200-day moving average and then find ourselves launching back up on Bitcoin. So last time this was just a launch up, 2 days, and then a fall. This time we launched up. We've been holding since September 20th. It's the 29th now. So we've got 9 days of support just below this, right around where the 200-day moving average is currently. We've got 9 days of support basically. So once that comes back down and tests that, we might see this as a launch pad. We might see about 63,000 as a launch pad to send us to all-time highs again on Bitcoin. So I'm actually pretty excited about that and the way that looks. Another thing on this chart down at the bottom here, this indicator down at the bottom here, that orange line, that thin orange line is pointing up. That's the slow moving momentum oscillator. That is pointing up. Also, all of these faster moving ones, they are staying above the orange one. They're coming back to test it occasionally, but they're bouncing off of it and going higher. That is all indication that Bitcoin wants to go higher. So I think we're going to see Bitcoin go higher soon. Okay, let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly is also looking all right. So on the weekly, we are still kind of pointing down on the orange oscillator. Now we came way up, got into overbought territory on that orange oscillator, and then now we are kind of coming down. And now the issue is that these faster ones are coming up, bouncing off the bottom of it and rejecting. So that's a little bit of a concern, and that is one of the reasons I think we could come back to the 200-day moving average before seeing it move up. And on this case, I mean, if we could even potentially flash down to the 21 EMA on the weekly, which is currently down at 61,183, but I don't think we'd stay there very long. I think we'd flash down and then flash back up from there. It'd be like a wick down there before this thing drags the momentum oscillators higher again. And that's what I'm looking at there for Bitcoin. I just wanted to bring up the weekly for a second there, but the daily is looking good. So the weekly is showing a little bit of a chance that we could find ourselves flashing down to 61, which would take us a little bit below the 21 moving average, but that would take us into this support on the double bottom from back in early August. That would also take us into the support here from late June before continuing on higher. So I wouldn't be super surprised to see that, but I wouldn't expect us to stay there very long. If we stayed there for more than a day or two, then I'd start getting a little nervous about that move. But so I'm looking at potential coming down a little bit, maybe 63 probably, possibly a wick down for a day or so to 61, and then I would be looking for a launch pad around that area for Bitcoin. All right, let's move on to Solana. Solana is looking very similar to Bitcoin. Now, we haven't fully confirmed yet, because if you can see here, you can see that the wicks of the last 2 days are still touching the 200-day moving average at 155.26. So that means we're not fully out of the woods yet. We could see ourselves come back down, test the 21, which is at 146.23 before coming up again. All right, before using that as a launch pad. We did also have a double bottom on Solana that played out. The neckline was around 138 that we crossed up above, and we are now kind of completing that double bottom on Solana. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some pullback here on Solana, since we have basically come to completion on that particular double bottom for Solana. Now, if we come back to the 21 and launch, this starts to look like something, oops, that's not what I wanted. It starts looking something like an inverted head and shoulders, right? We got a shoulder, head, and then we come back down around this area. That's a shoulder. The 200-day would act, around the 200-day would act as a neckline, and to take that move to completion, we need to go back up to about 200. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a pullback to the 21, maybe a little bit lower than the 21 EMA over the next week or two. I think the next week or two might be that pullback period where we get that 2 weeks in October where things are pulling back and going a little bit slower, and then towards the end of October we see that ramp up into and after the election. So that's what I'm looking for on these. I'm looking for some weakness in the next 2 weeks, and then using those areas as a launch pad. Okay, let's take a look at Ethereum. What's going on with Ethereum? So Ethereum is way off its 200-day moving average. Okay, way off of it. We are operating off of a double bottom, bottom. We came up. We're creating a bull flag right here. We haven't completed the double bottom yet. The completion of that double bottom would be at about 2,800 for Ethereum. It is currently flagging. We've got support right here between 2670 and 2541. We have those areas of a support area there that we could find ourselves launching off of. We could hit the 21. Again, I'm looking for Ethereum to come back, test the 21, and launch up to the 200, which is currently at 3,100. I'm expecting to see that sometime in early November and probably late November, early December, testing the top of this channel here. Maybe going above this channel actually and testing some of these areas of resistance up here in the high 30s for Ethereum, maybe even making a new all-time high. I could be looking at that. Take a look at the momentum oscillator here. So right now, the momentum oscillator for the slow moving one on the daily is all the way near the bottom, right? And it is curling up. Now, the fast moving ones are near the top, so those could come back down, touch the orange, and then bounce off. And that would represent that launch pad. Like if these faster oscillators down here came down, touched the orange line, the thin orange line, and then started to curl back up, that would be the pullback I'm expecting to see here, which could come potentially as low as 2450 again. And then once those faster oscillators start curling up and the orange one is still pointing up, I would be expecting a launch pad from there and have it come back up into the high 30s. Okay, that's what we're looking at with those three. All right, let's take a look at Doge real quick. So Doge USD. I'd like to finance one. That'd be a little bit longer than Coinbase, probably. Okay, Doge. This looks good. Okay, so Doge. I like Doge. Doge is looking great actually right now. So what's looking so good about Doge? We're getting that inverted head and shoulders on Doge that I was talking about with the others, right? With shoulder, shoulder, head, and boom, right there. The end of that move is that white line at about 14. So 14 cents is about the end of the inverted head and shoulders, where I would expect to see another bullish or bearish formation to come through and tell us what's going to happen next. So we're not quite done with this inverted head and shoulders yet. It needs to go up to about 14 before that move is complete. Now, what are we looking at here? So right now, we're off the 5 EMA, we're off the 21 EMA, we're heading towards the 200 SMA, which is up at 15 cents, 15.82 cents. What I am looking at right now, what I'm looking for is potentially, since all of these fast-moving momentum oscillators are all turning into spaghetti up here at the top while the orange is pointing up, I'm expecting those to curl over and, just like with Ethereum, come back to the orange and then bounce up again, much like they did right here, something like what happened here on September 17th. That is exactly what I'm looking for. And that is when we had a bull flag for 3 days. Boom, it came back, tested the 21, and bounced up hard. That is what I'm expecting to see. This is exactly right here on Dogecoin. These fast-moving momentum oscillators with the orange and the 3 fast ones. That is exactly what I'm looking for in the future. I'm looking for the blue to come back and touch it, the purple to dip a little bit, the yellow to dip a little bit more than the purple, and then the blue to turn around hard, cross over either the purple or the yellow, and drag all of those up higher, faster. That's what I'm looking for exactly on Ethereum and Bitcoin, to be honest, is that move down, tapping the orange with at least one of those faster moving oscillators, and then a launch up from there. That is precisely what I want to see. Okay, and so everything's kind of in an area where I would expect a slight pullback and then a launch right now. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a pullback and then a launch on all the crypto assets and the crypto related assets like MicroStrategy and the Bitcoin miners. So that is what we're looking at right now for the week. That's all I've got for you today. So like, comment, subscribe, share this video, check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.